Right?
Yep, you're gonna wanna record it too.
Yeah,
She said it already, she said it already
Okay,
recording.
so it's recording.
And then share screen.
That's a good idea.
Mhm.
They were saying that
Hey, so big on my screen. Okay, so if I go to share screen, right? Oh,
Show which one you.
right,
Mhm.
and then hit share. Okay. And then, so right now, it's rolling, right? And then so right now, that's what they see. But I want to do place from start. Ah, so that's what's on the screen, right? Can they see me too? Brandon, can you see me?
Yeah, I can.
I can see you right there.
Okay. I'm gonna try to, we haven't started yet. I'm trying to figure out how to move all this. I'm probably gonna hang out over there most of the time.
Okay, you wanna go where you're gonna go and I'll tell you. in a minute.
Yeah, probably.
Brandon, can you see the slideshow too?
No, it's on the launch meeting screen. When you click on the share screen, you gotta select which screen you want us to see.
Do you see, you don't see the slideshow?
No.
Oh, that's good.
Let's get out of here. And go back to the Zoom.
Go back to Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brandon, someone's here helping me. Okay, where do I go?
So let's do the green one. Is that bigger?
Yeah, I
That's
don't,
smaller. Okay, that's bigger. Okay, let's get out of it again. Go to yellow.
it says your screen sharing.
We have the wrong screen. Go to new share.
Oh, she
Go
told
to
desktop, maybe?
Desktop, yeah. Try that one. Now let's do this. Now, do you see the slideshow, Brandon?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Now you go where you want to go.
Aren't you glad that you're here to help me since I don't know what I'm doing with
No,
this
you would've figured it out.
technology?
Everybody here would help.
Hey,
Not me.
Especially not him.
here. Probably sit here.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
How are you gonna advance the slideshow?
I'll walk over here.
Okay.
Or I'll stand here. I don't really know.
I think it should be. Advance it.
That's too much technology for
Okay.
me. One thing at a time.
Good luck.
Okay, thanks. I asked for a mic too. No, not really, but it's because I don't like to stand right here because I can't half the time.
Have one next week.
Pam, not for you, from you. I asked, I told Pam, I was like, is there any way I could like, so they can hear me? Because when I'm sitting over there, they can't hear me.
Wes can give you a mic.
But then I may hate that idea too.
If you have a mic, you have to have insurance.
Yeah, I'm not that special. I'm not that special today. We'll give it a few minutes for people to log in and
So cute.
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, and that- So, I guess they're
Hey,
on-
Bryce. Jay Bree.
But they're the best.
Good morning.
Hey, Leroy, did you get that? I'm gonna send you this, I don't know, let me look. That counter guys information, you can use whatever you want, but it was really good.
The grant.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw him.
No, I said, do you want me to send it to you?
Oh, yes, please. Big farmers, yeah.
I sent it to you. He will, if you call him, he'll come out and like measure. It's free. I mean, he'll just come out and then you can just kind of, you can go to his Facebook page or his website. He's super cheap on granite. like the 3-inch, the good stuff too. He does a good job. Yeah, yeah. You could probably text him while you're in here and just say, hey, I need you to come measure this. Can you be there? He'll probably show up today. He's fast. Okay, it's hard. Family is probably the hardest. And friends, but family usually is like, so. Hey,
Good morning.
good morning.
I think we met.
Not in person. Hi.
Joey, nice to
Hi.
meet you.
I was like, I know your face pops up on my phone every time you call. Nice and big.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, thank you. No, yeah.
Yeah, anytime. I was in the office, so.
That's primary or primary is the price per square foot.
For your CMA, that's what you want to look at because that's what an appraiser is going to look at. So we can touch on it. I mean, if you have any questions, we can talk about it one more time. Okay, I'm going to get started. I was kind of waiting for everyone to hop on, so I may just do a little bit of housekeeping before we actually jump into it. Gotta love my slideshow. We'll see if I actually keep those up, but you know, it is what it is. So Nicole is going to do a class. Can you guys hear me okay? I guess that's okay. Thumbs up. Nicole is going to be doing a class next Monday, right after this one. So it'll be at 10 o'clock and it's going to be writing your contracts. So I know that Joe is going to be doing contract classes, but we were going to kind of integrate that because we are getting a lot of phone calls like, what do I do? I don't know how to write this contract, because we have kind of a lot of different levels in this coaching program. So we have some that have written multiples and some that haven't even seen one. So we're going to offer that next week at 10 o'clock. If you guys want to hop on to Zoom, it'll be on the Monday Zoom meeting. If you know how to write a contract perfectly, don't worry, you don't have to be on that. It's just something that we're going to do, but we didn't want to take up class time to do that since so many people kind of know. Half the people know, half the people don't. So that's going to be next Monday. And we're probably going to do it 2 Mondays in a row. And then also, I don't know if Nicole told you guys or not, we are going, which you guys didn't have, but we're kind of implementing a boot camp for brand new agents. So it's 4 weeks long. They're going to be required to go to those classes before they jump into this coaching program. And it's going to be really like how to navigate the MLS, how to write buyer, how to write seller. So that's something that you guys are more than welcome to jump in as well, but you don't have to. We're just going to do that. And it's going to be on a rotation. So every month we're going to have those 4 classes for the new people coming in. Once they attend those classes, then they can jump into this class. But you guys are more than welcome if you want to jump in on those too. Okay, so I know you guys talked a little bit last week on, I have a listing, now what? And so we're going to kind of go through today, like, I have a buyer, what do I do now? And I want this to be more of a discussion. I don't want to read to you guys. If you have questions, both on Zoom, just say, hey, this is my scenario, let's work through it. And I'm great with that. So I got a lot of phone calls, Nicole did as well, as like, hey, I just got my first phone call. It's my first buyer. They want to look at houses. What do? I don't know what to do. And it's kind of like a panic thing. And that's great. That's exciting. Someone wants you to help them find a house. So you want to make sure that you give them value for them to keep wanting you to find a house. I've had numerous buyers in the past call me and say, my agent's MIA. I haven't talked to my agent in months, or they're not answering their phone, or I asked them to send me properties and they're not doing it. So the best thing to do is create value in yourself and give them a reason to call you and want to stick with you. I'm going to shut this door. Thank you. I'm sure the whole office doesn't want to hear me talking. So the first thing to do is you're going to call, or that up there? No. See, let me change the slide. Okay, the first thing you're gonna do, you're gonna call or meet and introduce yourself to the buyer. So it could be a referral, it could be someone you met. I don't necessarily like meeting my buyers and doing a buyer consultation. It's totally fine if you like doing that, but because I just don't. I like to meet them at the first house. I have a pretty lengthy phone conversation to get the information I need. And then our first actual meeting is usually at the property. Some people don't like to do that. If you want to do a buyer consult, meet up at the office, great. Where there's other people around. Some women like to meet ahead of time to see who they're going to meet. Men, same thing. And that's totally whatever works for you and your style. That's not, for me, I'm just kind of like, it's just a lot of extra time that I don't have. So most of my buyers now are referrals. Someone's referred me to them and I don't necessarily know them. So I'll make the phone call. Hey, this is who I am. And then what I start doing is getting all the information I need. So the things that I get up front, just because my phone may get disconnected, they may just say, oh my gosh, my kid just fell, I need to call you back. The first things I get are email and phone. And when they give me their phone number, which I either have it when they called, I say, hey, and I know this is really silly because most people know how to text, but some people hate texting. So I say that, hey, is it okay if we text? Totally call me anytime, but I just want to make sure if I see a property that it's okay for me to shoot you a text. What does that look like for you? And some of my older clients are like the best at texting and some are like, oh honey, I don't even know how to work that thing. And that's good for me to know because if I'm sending them information and they're not responding, so I always make a little note, hey Susie, yes, it's okay to text. Something I do, and this is just my personal preference, is if I'm helping a husband and a wife or a boyfriend and a girlfriend, I put them into a group text. And I set that expectation up front. So the husband isn't upset that me and the wife are BFF and we're the only ones talking. And then the wife isn't upset that I am texting her husband or vice versa. It's not been an issue, but I always set that up front in our very first conversation. And I always think it's a really good thing to do. Hey, and I kind of make it kind of a joke in the conversation. Hey, everybody loves a group text. I'm going to set you guys up in a group text. That way everyone's getting in the information at the same time and no one's upset that one's getting more information than the other. And just let you guys know, if you text me outside of that group text, don't worry, I'll probably respond in the group text. Not because I'm trying to be, it's just so everyone gets the same information. It's worked really well. And I know people in this office that, like some of our agents, where some things got misconstrued or the wife fired another realtor because there was just be safe, be smart. And if you set that expectation up front, then there's not going to be anything for people to look into. So you guys do it how you want to do. That's just how I do it. Next thing is you want details on what they are wanting, because what you're doing right now is gathering as most information as you can to one is to set them up on the MLS search. So details on what they're wanting. Location, that's a huge deal. Sometimes they don't care. Oh, I need to be 30 minutes close to Tinker. Anywhere is great. And we need that is because that's how we're going to set up the search on the MLS. Bedrooms. Some people, I need 2 bedrooms. I need 4. You need that information because otherwise you're going to be sending them a whole lot of houses that aren't going to meet their needs. Must-haves and wants. Now, right now, this is a totally different market than it was 6 months ago. So really, it's really not wants, because it's like, what is your absolute minimum that you want for a house? Because that's probably all we're going to find right now, and everything else will be a bonus. I mean, I don't say that, but I do kind of have that conversation in the next slide. Price range. Hey, what are you kind of looking at? And some buyers will know right off the top, hey, I'm pre-approved with this lender. I know I can spend $200,000. Great. And some people are like, I don't really know. I don't even know if I'm pre-approved. And that's why we have that conversation. Sometimes you will hear that's like the next question after what's your name and your email. Are you pre-approved? And I don't want to do that. I want to create some sort of connection before I jump into, who's your lender and money, because some people put up a wall real fast when that's all you want to know. Now, yes, it's very important before I physically go and meet them at a house to know that they're pre-approved and that they can. But I want them to feel comfortable enough with me to talk about it. And so I've had a long enough conversation with them at this point that I can say, what are we looking at? What are you comfortable with? Which kind of leads into the lender question. I have no idea. Fantastic. I need you to get pre-approved. It's really important in this market for you to get pre-approved, because if you find a house you like, we don't have time for you to call a lender. And you start having that expectation conversation, but it's really a lender conversation. Well, do you have a preferred lender? Absolutely. So me and Nicole have different preferred lenders. I actually have about 3. There's one I use most of the time, unless I'm mad at them, and then I'll refer number 2, which happens. I get mad at my lenders, and they know it.
Do you have like a sheet that details out for folks the difference between pre-qual and pre-approved? Because I feel like I have just wasted my breath ample amount of time. In my
So once they tell me, and you'll learn this is kind of a learned thing. So once they tell me, oh yeah, I'm pre-approved or I'm pre-qualified, I'm said, fantastic, who's it with? Now, if it comes, I'm pre-approved with Wells Fargo, or I'm pre-approved, that's probably bad. Nobody, don't turn me into Wells Fargo. Or like an internet-based, like Lending Tree, where they just went in and put like 5 things in there. I'm gonna probably push back and say, oh gosh, what a great first step. That is amazing. So we know that you're on the right track. Let's see if one of the local lenders can get you pre-approved for that rate. Sometimes lender internet fees are way higher than local lender fees. I kind of turn it like, hey, great, you've done great on taking the first step. Let's look at these lenders. And I kind of tell them, in this competitive market, a local lender's gonna get you an offer over an internet lender. And I'm telling you that from the listing agent point of view. You can't tell anybody who to use. If they push back, okay, great. After they lose 4 or 5 offers, they're probably gonna take your advice to switch lenders.
Let them figure it out.
Yes, but you're also gonna be wasting a whole lot of your time. So just, you'll do really good on that conversation. Eventually, it's just gonna take practice to have that. But so the lender, so I have about 3, and I refer lenders based on the client's personality. I have a lender, I have a lender at Cornerstone, and that's Nicole's preferred lender, Dominic Dangora. He's fantastic. I think you guys met him at the mastermind, if you guys were there. He's really, really good. He's really, really thorough, which is great. We recommend him. Mark Hattler at First United Bank. He's been my preferred lender for 10 years. So Mark is a very established lender. He doesn't necessarily do great with first-time home buyer, needs help with credit. He just has too much business for him to really concentrate on those. So if I have a buyer that needs a little bit of help, I'm probably going to send them to Dominic, because Dominic will work with them, get their credit ready, and then come back and say, hey, they're ready. So you'll know that from the lenders you start using. And I really, really highly recommend you getting out and meeting some lenders. There's a lot of younger, not client, full portfolios right now, lenders that would love to meet with you and create a relationship. It's a really good thing to have a relationship with the lender too, because you can always call them on the weekends. And every single one of the lenders that are me and Nicole's preferred will answer our phone calls on the weekends. They will get us a pre-approval on the weekends because we work on the weekends. Like if we we try to get pre-approved, but if I needed an updated pre-approval letter to match my offer on a Saturday night at 5, I can message them and I'll have it. But I'm also loyal to them and they know it, so they want to do a good job. So kind of got off on the lender rant, but anyway, so that's the lender pre-approval is the next thing. So connect them with a lender if they don't have one, and a lender that you know that you can call and say, hey, did Bill call you today? What's the status? And my lenders will also call them if they haven't called and just say, hey, Leslie told me that you guys talked earlier, you need to get pre-approved, what do we need to do? There's also lenders out there that have an app. So if they say, no, I'm not pre-approved, I have a link on my phone that I can text to this new buyer that I just met and said, great, I just sent you this application to do online. You can use whoever you want, but I trust him with my clients. He does a really good job. And usually they're like, okay, great, whoever you recommend. That link goes to them, has his phone number, online application that they can do right then, takes 30 minutes, and I know.
I have a question. When you talk to fire, and do you have to give them more than one lender?
You probably should.
How do you approach that as far as, I've had to do this, I do it all the time.
Yeah.
It's cautious, I do it, it's in the lender wants to have their contact him, so that's 2 or 3 lenders calling. So how?
Well, I wouldn't do that. So if I gave them one lender, I would probably, and it was probably 24 hours and I didn't hear from that person, I would then call that one lender and say, hey, can you reach out? If I gave them 3 options, I'm gonna probably just touch base back with the client and say, hey, did you reach out? Like, what's going on? What do you need me to assist you with on that? Yes, you should give them more than one lender if they ask. But most of the time, my clients are just like, whoever you recommend is great. And I send them who I recommend. Because I've already know who I think they're gonna match well with.
It's the reason I'm asking that, because if they ask in your, well, I'll just use yours, and you just take one thing you need to get right.
Yep.
If they don't, then you need to say,
Sure.
here's 3, you know.
And there's been times that they call them and they don't click. I was wrong. They maybe hate my lender. And they're like, oh, he didn't answer my phone. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Here's 2 others. And at that point I may say, because I'm like, but then I'm mad at my lender because it makes me look bad. So that's when I get mad at my lender. But then I can give them 2 others. And you can always ask us too. You can call me and Nicole anytime. Hey, I have a buyer. This is their situation. I don't know who to send them to. Who do you suggest? I mean, we don't get kickbacks from lenders. They don't send us any money. We don't get gift cards. I mean, maybe get coffee every once in a while, but we're going to tell you who we really think that it's going to fit with. So, yeah. Okay. Next slide. This is so Nicole. She was so happy I did a PowerPoint. Like thrilled. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is after I talk to them about the lender and find out and send them information, I'm gonna set expectations with them. I'm gonna explain the market today versus last year. Because guys, these buyers are excited. They've made the decision to finally buy a home. And in their world, they've watched HGTV, and we are gonna go to 20 different houses. They're gonna have a week to think about it. We're gonna bring our whole family to look at the homes. Then we're gonna make pros and cons, and then we're gonna drive the neighborhood. That ain't happening. So I'm kind of a dream crusher, but not at the, but I'm not. So I set expectations right up front. And another reason I do that is because I don't want to seem like a really pushy realtor when I show up to the first house and they love it. I'm like, then we need to make an offer right now. Because if I haven't set those up, it looks like I'm not going to eat next week if I don't sell them this house. In reality, we know that house ain't going to last 5 minutes. But to a first-time home buyer, it's like, whoa. Or even a second or third or a fourth home time. I mean, or an older couple that hasn't seen the market and they've lived in the same house for 25 years. That goes a little bit slower. So that's the next conversation I have. Are you pre-approved? Great. Hey, I just want to talk to you a little bit about this market because I even say this because I don't want you to think I'm pressuring you to do anything when you do find the house you love. And I tell them, I used to say depending on the price range, but really any price range right now, I say this market's rough. It is a tough market. We will get there and we will get there together, but this is a tough market. And if we show up to a house and you can see yourself living there, let's make an offer. And we're gonna have to make an offer probably 30 minutes leaving the property. And they're like, oh, yes. So I'm gonna do a really good job of sending you houses that meet your criteria. you're gonna do your job, you're gonna get pre-approved and ready to go, so when we find that house, we're not waiting on that step 2. And we're gonna do this together. So when we do show up at the first house, because that's usually when I meet my clients and they love it, I'm like, let's go. I also tell them, in this process, you're gonna love a lot of houses, but we cannot fall in love with one till we have it. You will probably get beat out on multiple offers multiple times. And if we don't, thank you, Jesus, that's even better. But if they're expecting that, they're not gonna be as mad at me when they don't get it the first time. And I know it is rough. I mean, we are in it. Me and Nicole are in it with you guys. We have buyers in that under $200,000 price range that want Mustang, Yukon, and South Oklahoma City like everybody else. And I've probably shown 25 houses to multiple buyers. Like, we get it. And we have buyers. I mean, I have a single mom. She's the stinking cutest thing. And she's FHA. She can't go anything but FHA. And she doesn't have cash to put down over. And it sucks. Because she still wants to look at houses, but she's defeated every weekend. But we're in it together and we had the conversation up front. So that's a really good thing to do, whether you're meeting your buyer in person or you're talking to them over the phone, set that expectation. Guys, it's at $500,000 houses too. I mean, it's not as bad, but it's bad. I mean, usually those would sit for 30 days where you could at least consult about the neighbors. I mean, that's a whole lot of money to spend on a house. And so anyways, so explain the market today versus last year.
So I have this first time buyer, and I was having a conversation with her about all this market going crazy. And then my sister sent me this TikTok about an apple.
Yes,
And I
the
was
Apple
like,
TikTok.
I'm gonna send you this TikTok and that it kind of explains, I know it's funny and you know, I'll topic or whatever. And she saw it, she's like, is it really, really like that? I said, yes, it's like that. And
Yeah.
she's like, okay, she's like, I get it. I was like, okay, good. I was like, so the TikTok helped.
Yes, it did. So Susie, I don't know if you guys can hear her, but she was saying that TikTok video about the apple where everyone had an apple to sell. Every realtor shared it. It was really funny. But if you haven't seen it, it was, I have this apple to sell, and this guy was like, oh, let me see it. And they're like, nope, you're not going to see it. Bid starts it, and they just go off. And then a California buyer came in and bought it for $100, and the apple was like $1 because it was the cheapest apple he had ever seen. So yes, that is.
That synopsis was on point.
It was so funny, but it's true. It's so true right now. So yes, send them the video. Send them just tell them this is what it is, but I'm here to help.
She's like, whoa. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, literally, like.
So that brings us to buying power today versus last year due to interest rates. So when you have that conversation, that could put the brakes. Oh gosh, maybe I want to wait. Maybe I don't want to buy right now. Well, that's true, but interest rates are really low, and that's why the market's like this. So yeah, it may be rough getting there, but if we get there, the reward in the house that you're going to have is going to be bigger than what you could afford when the interest rates start going up.
Well,
So
I had a question real quick
yeah.
about the last kind of topic. Whenever we're dealing with these buyers, just the psychology behind if you're in a multiple offer situation like you're talking about with an FHA borrower, and then you have multiple offers, you've got little time to get multiple offers in. How are you prioritizing? You're on a team, right? You have other people that can help you. But the other day I almost missed cutoffs because I had to get 2 offers in. One offer I knew was not going to get accepted, and the other one had a chance. How do you prioritize that?
So
If you're not on a team?
Right. Well, regardless, me and Nicole write our own offers. Nobody writes our offers for us. No one, Diana manages our files once they're under contract. But we do it until they're under contract. So I write it. Now I do, if I have an FHA buyer and I'm going to go show homes, and on the MLS, I'm showing 10 houses to this person today. And it says all offers due by 1 o'clock, and I'm not set to show them till 10 o'clock. I'm not gonna show them the house. And I mean, there's just not time. There's not time for me to show them the houses they want to see, get home and write an offer. And I know they're not going to win. So I just take that out of the showing. Now, if I'm showing them one house and it's 10, I'll go show it. But if I'm showing multiple houses, I'll take it out and I'm just going to say, hey, they had multiple offers and we just didn't have time. And I mean, like, hey, we didn't have time to get it back. And usually they're like, oh, we get it. Because if they're in multiple offers and they're FHA, they're probably not, I mean, write the offer. And if it's something that you're showing them and you decided to fit them in and you're showing at 12 and multiple offers are due by 1 and you think they're really going to like it, pre-write the offer, have it ready to sign. It's extra work. I would just do the actual offer. I probably wouldn't do the other 15 pages that go with it because you can always do that afterwards. But pre-write it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. That's kind of what I realized, is setting up templates and things like that just to speed everything up. But it's just, going on those showings whenever it's going to be multiple showings. It's like you said, it's tough. And I was just kind of getting your feedback on how you're handling that psychologically, because you're in a tough position going in.
Yeah, I really, if it's not multiple offers the next day, or I have at least 6 or 7 hours, I probably won't show it. I'll just say, hey, it's multiple offers. We're not gonna, we don't have time to get our offer in. But I give them an option. I mean, we can rush over there, but you're gonna have to make a decision in 5 minutes. And then I just have that conversation with them up front. So,
Sounds good. Thanks.
okay, you're welcome. Oh, where are we? Due to interest rates, when you start having that conversation with people and they start saying, wow, I may not want to do this, you then can reiterate, hey, the interest rates are really good right now. That's another reason to move forward. Like, I'm not trying to have you guys be doomsday to all these buyers. Just happily set the expectations that it could be rough, but the reward will be really great too. And then the importance of a local lender for winning offers. After telling them all that, you've already told them, hey, you need to call a lender, but you also need to tell them, like, hey, in my experience, we can win offers just by having a great lender. And that's why I referred XYZ. I know you're using internet.com lending, but in this market, from the things that I've just told you, listing agents really care about a local lender, and we do. I had 9 offers this weekend on a property that I had to go through. And the third best offer netted them almost 10 grand less, but it was with a local lender that I know does a really good job. And I told them that, like, hey, I'm gonna get on a soapbox real quick. I'm sorry. Also, one of the offers that was the best offer, the agent was a jerk. He was a jerk. He netted them the most, but he yelled at me multiple times. He got upset because he didn't look at the MLS notes and know that we had best and final by a certain time. So he put his response date early. Anyways, y'all be nice. Be nice to the listing agent, because my people didn't pick his offer because he was a jerk to me. And my people love me. These are actually really good friends. And I just told him. They said, what do you think? I said, this one has a great lender. This one's okay. This guy's got the best offer, but he's a jerk. And they said, if he's going to be a jerk to you, he's probably going to be a jerk to us during this transaction, and we don't want to deal with it. So I'm just telling you, side note.
You should email that guy and let him know.
I should, but it was just easy. Sorry. I call all of, every single offer I get, I'm going to call you and tell you, I'm sorry. You didn't I'm not going to send you a text. I'm not going to wait till you see it pending on the MLS. My relationship with other agents are very important, because sometimes I win offers because my relationship with other agents. So I called every single one of those 9 agents and I said, hey, well, I got the seller's permission first. I don't know if y'all talked about this last week. And I said, is it okay if I tell them the winning offer? And my seller said, yeah, we don't care. So I called every single one of those agents and said, hey, I'm really sorry you didn't get this. This is the reason why we chose the other offer. One, I'm educating the other agents on what's winning. And two, they have an answer to go back to their buyers and say, we didn't win because of this.
I kind of have a hard time being like, that was rude.
You what? I didn't call that guy. So my whole point to that is I sent him a text. Sorry, went with a better offer. I didn't give him any other information. He was rude. I'm not gonna tell you who it is. You probably don't know who it is, but anyways, he was just rude. Everyone else got a phone call and people really appreciate those phone calls because I've been in multiple offers and my buyer calls me and says, well, it's pending. Oh, I guess we didn't get it because I'm not the agent it's pending under. So in saying all that, just be nice to other agents, guys. It's a crappy market. Just be kind. What?
Okay. Just kind of on the note of multiple offers, if you attach the multiple offers to the supplements and you say by Thursday at noon, but people are submitting offers and they expire at 5 o'clock the day before,
Okay.
is that automatically off the table?
No.
Or can you accept that offer even though?
So Joey's, I don't know, can you guys hear Joey? I don't want to be repeating it if you guys can
Yeah.
hear him. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
Joey asked the question I was about to.
Okay, perfect. So yes, there's a couple things. One, if you notice, it's really up to you. If the offer, if you have it in the MLS, Thursday offers are due by 12, and someone sends you an offer that expires at 5 o'clock Wednesday, I'm not going to respond to them. So usually the agent will call and say, hey, you didn't respond to our offer. Yes, because you didn't read the MLS that says all offers by noon. I still have your offer in the pile that I'm going to present. If it's a bad offer, I'm not going to waste my time. The other realtor didn't read the notes. If it's a really good offer and you're like, crap, this expires before, I'm probably going to call that agent and say, hey, did you see where this says 12 o'clock? I just want to make sure you saw this. And then usually they'll say, oh, I didn't see it, or no big deal, and they'll send you a revised. But I wouldn't waste your time on offers that aren't going to get accepted. So if you have 10 offers and 4 of them didn't follow the instructions, but you're not even going to go with 4 of them, don't waste your time. Don't waste the other agent's time is making you do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a top offer, so I just need to call them and say, hey, you probably didn't see this.
Yeah, and just come with grace when you make that phone call.
Right.
Like, hey, you probably didn't see this. I just want to make sure everyone, that your people have a fair shot. We're not looking at offers till this time. Can you just send me a revised page 6?
Okay.
And they usually be like, in this market, they should be like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or, hey, we got a really great offer for you, but it expires before our time. I really need you to change this.
Have you
And
run
they will.
across anybody that being their strategy, like they want you to pick them, they know it's one of the best offer, or they figure it's one of the best offers, and they're like, they just respectfully like, hey, we're gonna leave it there.
Mhm.
Just, that's what my buyers want to do.
So before this market happened,
Uh-huh.
excuse me, we did that all the time.
Okay.
Agents would do that all the time. We would say, I need an answer by tonight, by 8 o'clock.
You're Shark Tanking.
And a lot of times then it creates with the seller, like, should I just go ahead and do it? Because what if they walk? And they're not, most of the time they're not. But this market doesn't allow it, because if you say, I need to know by 8 o'clock, there's gonna be 10 other people with the same offer that are gonna be fine and waiting to 5 the next day.
Right.
So yes, before we used to be able to really do that. I need an answer in 5 hours, which, we used to do, and it used to work because we didn't want someone else coming in, but in this market, no. Okay, sorry, I have 15 other offers I have to go deal with. I'm not gonna do, it just doesn't really
It's
happen
nothing
as
against
much.
them, it's just,
And some agents still write it.
Yeah.
And they don't follow the instructions on the MLS, but that's why they're in the MLS.
right.
And that's another thing too. I know we're jumping off the buyer, but we had this conversation where you put a listing on the market and the buyer wanted to wait like 7 days to take offers. I mean, that's a whole lot of work for you and you have to do whatever the seller wants to do, but I would strongly encourage them not to do that because really good buyers they won't want to play that game. They don't want to be one of 100 offers. They would rather be one of 10.
I really am in 5 of this.
Okay.
Like, come on.
Okay, so that's just one of those things. Bryce, did that answer your question too? Was that the same?
Yes, pretty much. So I called the listing agent and said, hey, I'm fixing to submit an offer. We're gonna put, do you have a best and final time yet? And he said, no, we haven't set one yet. I said, okay, great. I'm gonna put my offer to expire, 24 hours from now. Well, then he shot me a text at like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock last night saying that they were gonna make a decision at 10 p.m. So 4 hours later than what I put my expiration date.
Okay.
So would you go in there and revise the contract, or would you just
No, as
call
long
them
as
at
you,
5:30 and
as long as you've acknowledged that in writing somehow and said, okay, great. You may even ask them, do I need to revise page 6? Just ask them. Like, I've had offers accepted where the expiration date was earlier just because I didn't make people go back and do it.
Okay.
So just ask the agent. Communication's the key thing. And if you have it in writing, no one's going to say, well, your offer's the best, but it expired, so I'm not going to take it. I mean, they're going to take it and sign the counter and y'all are going to move forward.
okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Okay, moving on. So you have the buyer, you got off the phone, you have all their information, they're getting pre-approved. You are going to set up a search in the MLS. This is going to be one of those boot camp classes where we actually pull up the MLS and we're going to show you like how to do it. If you're a pro at it, you don't need to come. If you want to come just see different tips and learn, that's great too. But so the things we're going to do, area. So in the MLS, you guys can search by zip code. You can search by school district. And I usually do school district because if someone says I want to be in the Mustang Yukon area, that's a really easy way to search. You can do Mustang Yukon schools. Because they have Oklahoma City addresses, they have Yukon addresses, Mustang addresses, that kind of encompasses all of that. If they say, hey, I want to be in more schools, the school district, I think, is the easiest one to do. Now, if you have someone that says, hey, I want to be 30 minutes away from Tinker, I will make a box. I don't know if you guys know that, but you can do a shape box. So anything, make a little box around Tinker, what I think is about 30 minutes away, do that, set the box up for the area. Are you familiar how to set all that up? Okay.
And
if not-
specific, you can do specific school.
Yes, all the way down to specific schools, which really limits your search. But yes, some people want that. There's on price range, if someone tells me that they want to be at 200 up to 200, I'm gonna go to 210. I really did that prior to this market because you could find houses that were 210 that you could probably get for 205. But if they love it but I only go up 10,000 and I tell them that on the phone. 200, fantastic. I'll probably go up to 210 because if someone's willing to pay 205 for their dream house, but they miss out because I've set their search at 200, they're going to pay that extra $2 a month on their payment. So, but I don't go up to like 50,000 more than what they told me because then that's out of their price range. So I do 5 to 10 grand over what their budget is. And I also, if they're looking for a $200,000 house, I don't do 0 to 200. I do like 140 to 200 because those houses 140 and under, they're not going to be interested in, and they're just going to be getting these links. So it kind of weeds out some of their houses that they're not going to want. Same thing. If they want a $400,000 house, I'm not doing 0 to 400. I'm doing 300 to 420, kind of, depending on what they want. You can add fields to the MLS. I was going to pull this up, but I think we're going to do it at class. So do you guys know that? Like if you're looking for something specific and it's a box on the MLS, but it's not on your normal search, you can go in and add and then type what you need. Did you guys know that you can do that? Yes. Okay. I'm not so great on this. We'll show you next time because I'm afraid if I get out of the system, there's nobody to help me to get back in. So yes, we'll show you guys how to do that in that class on how to set up your search navigating the MLS. You guys can add fields, take away fields. If you just want to be nosy and say, hey, I want to know how many houses Joey's selling right now, has under contract, you can go and search agent and see how many houses he's got under contract.
I did really well with that, with like just seeing who has the most listings, you can go to that person, like, hey, you got me.
Sure, yeah. There's a lot of cool things that you can do in the MLS, like once you start playing around with it. But anyways, so you can add fields. If you want a pool, some people put yes on pools if it's a neighborhood pool, and you should not do that. Don't do that. Because it's not, I mean, the neighborhood has a pool, but you want to actually home pool. So you can add fields, you can delete fields. So if I'm looking for an FHA VA buyer, I'm not going to send them, sorry, y'all may not agree with this. I'm probably not going to send them very many short sales. I'm not going to send them foreclosures because they're probably not going to go FHA VA. Now I can look specifically at them if it's leased and they need to own it. So you can go in and put do not include on the search. So you leave out and you can click those items. So those buyers aren't getting those things. I didn't do that when I first started, and I would get people that would call me like, this is an amazing house. I'm like, oh, you can't buy it because it will only go cash or conventional. Or this is a short sale that they already have a conventional offer on. So I try to eliminate that by just not even getting them in their search. So you can go to things not to include when you send them out. And this is probably extra work that I do, but I love extra work. Every time I sit down to my computer, I look at new listings on the MLS. I just do. In the morning and when I'm closing it down, just to see if I missed anything. Because sometimes your buyers get so many emails, they may have missed it. So if there's a house, I'm like, oh, she didn't message me about this one went on today. I will get on my app and text her the property. So maybe she's got it twice, maybe he's got it twice. And I always tell people, hey, sorry if this is redundant, but did you see this house? 50% of the time it got lost in their email and maybe they didn't see it, or if it was like a Monday and they had a huge day in sports after, they didn't see it. I really like to do it in the mornings because if a house hit the market at 8 o'clock and they haven't seen it yet, we're probably gonna have to see it today. So that's also something that I do. A lot of buyers will have Zillow on their phone or a realtor that'll also give them alerts. But if they see a house multiple times, I think it's just easier for you guys to get in front of them and then they won't miss it and then they're not upset. Or 2 days later, they come across it and say, well, when's multiple offers? I didn't get to make an offer. So if you have the time, I know this is a lot of second jobs for some people, but look at the MLS daily, look at the new listings. It's really good to educate yourself on what's going on out there, what's out there, because you may end up with a buyer and you're like, crap, I just saw a house just went on the market today and you got that buyer in the afternoon and then you can connect them. So I have a list of buyers that's written down because I write things down on my whiteboard next to my desk. I have my listings that are upcoming and I have my buyers that are not matched with the property yet, that are not pending. And every day I look. Because sometimes I forgot that I was working with that buyer, but this may work, or I forgot this location. And I just do it every day and I send them a text if I see something. So I review them because they may not be able to look at every single email that you guys send. Next slide. I guess I don't have to say next slide, it just pops up. Okay, so the next thing is going to be showing cart. Do you guys know that you can put all your MLSs in the, you find 10 houses you want them to look at. You can put all in the search bar and then you can click, select all, and then they all take you to showing cart to schedule. You don't have to type them all in showing cart. Found that out after. No one told me after about 2 years. I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing. So yes, type your MLSs that you want to see in the same screen that you're going to view them in, and then you can select all, go to showing cart, and then you can schedule in there. Showing houses. So because my face is on our signs, if I'm showing a signed call or a new buyer, my husband knows where I'm going. He can track me. I can track Nicole. Me and Nicole can track each other, which gets fun because if she doesn't answer her phone, I start seeing where she's at. She loves that, especially when she's up here and I start calling Diana. I'm like, can you please have Nicole call me? Or I get mad, but she's not answering her phone. You know, we're kind of married. So anyways, my husband knows where I'm going and he can track me, especially if it's a new client. I'm not going to make someone send me their driver's license because I wouldn't send someone their driver's license. But I know some safety classes that they say, hey, get a picture of their driver's license if you're going by yourself, some things. So just be smart about it. I feel like I've been doing it long enough that I have gut feelings. Sometimes my husband goes with me and sit in the car, and sometimes he does a ride along with me. And just comes, if it can work, great. We have had, I'm just kind of adding this in the side. We have had some interesting things the last couple weeks with some girls on our team. Not unsafe, but uncomfortable, where the buyer that was a lead, it was actually a Boomtown lead. They closed the deal, but through the whole transaction was like completely inappropriate. My husband would have lost my mind. Hers is a lot nicer than mine. But in saying that, she would ask us, like, can you be at inspections with me? Just be smart. Take a friend. They don't know who your friend is. If you're meeting someone for the first time, you can take your sister and say, hey, this is my assistant. They don't know who it is. Or you can take your mom and say, I'm training this new agent. She's just going to be with me. There's power in numbers. So anyways, be smart. And guys, same thing. Like, if you get a girl being super, super flirty on the phone and you want to take your brother or your wife as your assistant, or so you're not alone with that person, do it. Just be smart and trust your gut on that. Sorry, I had to add that in there. It wasn't on my slide. I usually arrive early, which is kind of funny. I'm never early anywhere, but in reality, you should arrive 5 minutes early. I go in, I turn on lights, and I make the house the most inviting that I can, because when you're walking in and all the blinds are shut and the seller didn't prepare for that showing, you want to make sure that you can show the house as best as possible. So I go in, I turn on lights, I print handouts. I really do, because I think they're the best things. And Nicole will agree with me on this printed pieces of paper. I do print the handouts for the client's view. I staple them in order on how we're looking at the houses. One, they know the house we're going next, so they have the driving address, so they don't have to like follow me if we get lost. And I don't drive with clients. One, they probably don't appreciate my rap music, and I really like my rap music, and I'm not changing it. My kids aren't in the car. Usually I listen to Christian if they are. Anyways, it's my time. I don't want to share that. I'm on Bluetooth on my phone. I just don't drive with my clients. They meet me. They're out of town clients. They still gonna follow me in their rental car probably. I mean, once in a while maybe, but anyways, so my printout. It gives them the address to where they're going, and it also allows them to take notes. So, I mean, the biggest note is a big X on it. If they hate it, they make an X and we keep going to the next property.
It's just the MLS sheet.
It's just the MLS sheet. There's an agent view and a client view, and I print both because I use my agent. Some people can use your phone and you can do that. I don't like that. I want to be able to make notes too. I give feedback. So any feedback, and a lot of agents are really bad about giving feedback. I just think it's kind because I want feedback on my listing. So I'll make a few notes from each house in between, and that's where I write those. So I print those off. Know about the property before you get there. Do a little bit of research. Look at the disclosures. If you're going to a house that's had, it's as is, and it's had a whole lot of damage, I mean, it's going to tell you that somewhere in the listing. So do your research before you get there. I walk around with them. I look at the age of hot water tanks. I look at the age of AC units. One, I'm creating value because it's something they probably wouldn't have went and looked at, but they are going to ask me at some point and I'll have an answer. Or, hey, this looks like it's been treated for termites. You can tell those things. The roof looked really bad. Or when they come back at the end of the day and say, what's your opinion? I can say, well, this house had this. I don't know if you noticed that. Well, this crack this doesn't look like it's, I mean, I'm not an expert by no means, but this is a straight crack, so it's probably not foundational. None of the doors were sticking. This, like, I just give my opinion. So be present in what you're doing. Don't just stay on your phone while they're looking at the house. Look at it with them and create value. And that was the next step. Will the house go FHA and VA? You'll learn if it'll go FHA and VA. If you go outside and it's wood paneling and half of it's peeling, probably not gonna go. And if it is gonna go, it's gonna be a requirement for the seller to fix. And if the house says as is, that's probably not gonna be a great house for your buyer. And point that out. Hey, do you see this? This is the reason this house would probably not go FHA and VA. And it's being sold as is. Hi,
Is there a Joey in here?
yes,
There's a guy in front. Oh, sorry.
it's okay. Joey, disturbing our peace. It's okay. Go take care of your client. Or your Uber driver. So that just creates value in yourself because you knew before, you knew that it wasn't gonna go that and you didn't waste your buyer's time or money getting there. Okay, any questions on that before I move to the next thing? Okay, any questions on mine?
Is HVAC the same as HVAC?
I'm sorry?
Is HVAC the same? as
Oh, no, it's just because I didn't, because I thought I proved my slides and I didn't. How embarrassing is that? No one else said anything. It's supposed to be HVAC. Go ahead, Susie.
So for like new agents like myself that I have never shown a house in my life. Is there any way to like go along with somebody that has done it before and? see
Yeah,
how
You
they
can
do
shadow
it?
people, absolutely.
Okay.
Hold on real quick. I don't know really what I'm trying to make this bigger so they can see this. Okay, yes, you can shadow, you can call any agent up here, you can call me and Nicole, you can call our agents, like, do you have any appointments coming up that I can hang out with you with? Are you showing houses I can go see how you do it? Now we'll be on our best behavior when you're there, because we've gotten a little rusty, so the things that I'm teaching you, I may not do 100% of the time, but I should. So as long as you give grace, that's fine, but yeah, call us. Most agents in here would be fine with you coming and like in the office, saying, hey, do you have a client? Can I go with you? I would probably do one that you're doing multiple showings, so you could get used to like 5 or 6 showings instead of just 1 or 2, but sure.
Yeah, 'cause
Anytime.
like for me, I don't know, like what to look for, and I'll be like, same as as my, customer, I was like,
Yeah.
what we're looking at.
Yeah, anytime. And then when your buyer says, this is the house, I find it, this is the information you're gonna want. Because this is what you're gonna use to fill your offer sheet. Property address, obviously, you're gonna get that from the MLS. Legal description, that's on the MLS. Buyer's legal names and seller's legal names. The sellers you'll get off of Realist from the MLS. You can leave it blank, but you might as well fill it in for the other agents. We don't have to go in and do that afterwards. Buyer's legal name, you really want to make sure, and you've got to ask that, because if you're helping someone named Mike, their name is probably Michael, but you need to know that before you write the offer, or you're going to have to go and do an addendum later that says this is the legal name. So I always ask that, like, hey, Mike, what's your real name? Is it it's helpful. Purchase price, what you're going to offer, 10 to 20 over asking right now. Don't really have to do that. But, earnest money. Earnest money, usually, if you're under 2, in this market, the higher the earnest money, the better. But usually like under 150, 1,000 is fine. Under 300,000, 1,500 is fine. Sometimes we get offers with $500 earnest money, and that's not enough, guys. You need to at least be doing $1,000. Unless it's a $50,000 house, which I don't even know if any exist out there right now. You really should be doing, just saying. Are you doing one that's 50,000?
Yeah.
Oh.
I gotta leave. The gentleman with the house at 75,000.
Okay, well, so you could do, if it's under 100,000, 1% is probably great for earnest money type. So $700 if you can do it. Where earnest money will be held at. I always make the earnest money out to the title company unless it says in the realtor notes. So I'm gonna pick a title company that's close or that I have a relationship with, and that's where I'm gonna make the earnest money on, yeah.
Judy had suggested that we have title, hold on to it. Do you have? an
Title?
opinion? Or not title, I'm sorry, Keller Williams, hold on to it. Do you have an opinion on that versus the title company?
Yes, I do have an opinion on that.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just trying to find out the best way to do it. The reason that I write it out to the title company is because it is convenient. I'm just gonna be honest.
Okay.
It's convenient. The buyer can take the earnest money to the title company and I don't have to touch it. The advantage of having KW Elite hold it is that if there is a dispute over earnest money, we can make the decision on what happens to it. So I have been in this scenario that I wish KW Elite had the earnest money because we could have released it back to buyer or seller without having a signature or whatever we felt was necessary, whatever Ed, our attorney, said was okay. And title will make you have a signed release. And sometimes if a buyer goes MIA and you can't get a hold of them and the money just sits at the title company, that's an issue. And that's where I wish kind of KW had held the earnest money. But it's a convenience thing for me. This is not close for me. So for me to have to, I mean, I could have Diana do it, but it's just kind of inconvenient. So if you're here all the time and you live close by and you're using the title companies close by all the time, that'd probably be great. Yes, it's smart to use them, but my honest opinion is I just use the title company that's closest to the house and have the buyer take it. I haven't had that many issues where I feel like I have to use KW only. That makes sense. Title company, once again, we have relationships with title companies. You'll create relationships with title companies. What I think is frustrating is when a house is in Blanchard and someone wants me to use an Edmond location. I just think that's rude to close. Can you do it? Yes. But I think it's kind to pick a title company that's close to the property. So y'all aren't driving an hour just to go to closing. So if you're closing in Southwest Oklahoma City, there's tons of, or if Mustang, pick one in Mustang. But create those relationships and sometimes right now it says on the MLS seller prefers this title company. It's really because the realtor does. But if you don't care, pick that title company. It's gonna make your offer seem like you're being a little bit, like cooperating. Yes. This is kind of funny. Do buyers want a home warranty? They may want one, but they're gonna have to buy it themselves. In this market, you're probably not gonna be asking for home warranties, but that's a discussion that you can have with them because you can always order it and add it to the settlement statement and they can pay for it at closing if they want one. It also can be purchased after and they can use it as a tax write-off on their home for repairs. And then how much that home warranty is, we'll go over that. We're gonna have a home warranty person come in and talk to you guys about all that stuff as well. Then the pre-approval letter, proof of funds that we talked about when you met them, we're gonna add that as well. This is kind of funny too. Do the buyers want or need the seller to pay for the closing costs? It don't matter. They're not gonna get them right now. But you have to fill that in the form too. So these are just some things that when you do go to the buyer contract class, if you decide to go, you guys, no pressure whatsoever. If you're very comfortable in writing offers, you don't need to attend that class. But it's gonna be 10 o'clock right on Monday next week. And then that will be our normal rotation of group pay classes. Okay, that's pretty much it for what to do when you find a buyer. Do you guys have any questions or anything I didn't cover?
Plus, we also, I mean, when we were in Washington, we had a situation. One of the agents was doing our open house. I mean, this is a big burly guy, probably 260, works out all the time. And those three people came in, two guys and a gal, and they caught him, got behind him and whacked him in the back of the head with a lamp. Unfortunately, he came up fighting and, he go for a few days of work, but you do have to be aware of your surroundings.
Absolutely.
Even the guys.
Yeah, and I like, I mean, I carry, but I'm not gonna say who doesn't want to. Like I've had quite a bit of training in it. But, so it's just whatever makes you feel comfortable with. I mean, if I'm gonna go show people that I know or stuff like that, I'm not gonna, but otherwise, I mean, if I'm showing a brand new client, my husband knows where I'm at. I've done everything I can to protect myself. I'm still probably I'm gonna carry. But it's, just be smart in this, I mean, guys, girls, it could be multiple people, just be smart. I feel like right now, the market's so crazy that sometimes if a buyer calls you, you don't ask all the questions you need to ask. You're like, yep, I'll be right there. One, you're super excited because you have a new buyer and you're ready to go. But just kind of slow down into the back of your head. I just want you to remember, like, what steps am I taking to, like, just to make sure that you're safe. So, yeah.
A few years ago, we had a police officer in there showed us here. He was really good. Because he mentioned to us that they got feeling one going in, call them, they will do for you. They mentioned too that if you're going to the open house, you're running your house, or you're going to house, don't let people get behind you like that guy did. You know, and always have an escape route. That means our guys don't park in the driveway, park that front, and you can't block it. And then you make an escape route, you show a house, especially if you get up the house.
Yeah.
That was a problem, and I started thinking about that because you never know, because you have people who don't have to really.
Yeah. Don't be, I mean, just be mindful. I'm not trying to make anyone nervous. I mean, I haven't had any issues. It's been, I mean, without my heels, I'm like 5'3" on a good day. So, I mean, you just be mindful of what, you know, if you're showing and all that good stuff. So, everybody good? Okay. All right, guys, we're done. Thanks for joining on Zoom. Do you guys have any questions online? I should ask you that.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm headed to a closing.
Okay, good job. That's exciting.
Woo! All right.
Thanks.
I don't have any. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Bryce.